This is Mr. Middlepath, and I'm just taking a drive. Wanted to record this quick video and share with you my opinions. I'm saying my opinions once again. I'm not saying these are facts. I'm not saying this will happen. I'm saying that this can happen, or that I could see how it could happen. And I want to talk about Donald Trump and my opinions on why his presidency will be the presidency of warfare and escalation, not the presidency of peace as some people are predicting. And I want us to think about specifically with Yemen. I think a lot about Yemen and Donald Trump. Thinking about Donald Trump's personality and the situation with Yemen and what it means. So let's think about this. Donald Trump is the president who portrays himself as law and order, hardcore, does what he says, means what he says, and he's not going to take any BS from anyone or let America get pushed around. Now you have Yemen, and Yemen is being funded by the Iranians, the Houthis. The Iranis are funding the Houthis, and the Houthis have the world's trade supply in a chokehold. We're talking about pretty much all of the ships that have the tankers for the liquid natural gas and the oil are all going around Africa instead of going through the Bab el-Mandeb Strait and into the Red Sea and then through the Suez Canal to the Mediterranean. So they've effectively chokehold the whole thing. This is a very big power move, guys. At the same time, Saudi Arabia, which is a neighbor of Yemen and is one of the pillars of the American empire in terms of the petrodollar and everything going on. One of the pillars of the American empire is starting to act more independent. Wants to go into Russia and China's arms and the whole BRICS agreement and everything. You have the UAE, which is also in America's sphere of influence, one of the first to normalize with Israel. And they too are going into China and Russia's arms, and there's some question marks there. At the same time, guys, Iran is too risky to invade. It's too risky. It's too much of a gamble for America to invade a country like Iran. They might win, but the cost is way too high. Iran combines the worst of Iraq geography and Afghanistan geography. Mountains and deserts, very large country, may or may not have nuclear weapons at this point, is very close and shares a border with Russia, has all these proxies surrounding it and has buffer zones, Lebanon, Syria, and Iraq. That's a very tall order to ask to conquer it. Yemen, on the other hand, is a small piece of land. It's not geographically connected with Iran, so it's harder for Iran to arm it. Further away from Russia and China, even though they're technically in the same network, one could say. Weaker, doesn't have nuclear missiles. Now, if America were to conquer the Houthis and conquer Yemen, they would set a message to Russia and China: don't mess with us, right? And people are thinking about this wrong. Like, oh, what about Taiwan? What about Ukraine? The war, the battle space is also the Middle East. Controlling the Middle East is controlling the territory. Sending a message to Saudi Arabia: hey, don't think that you can, get away from your master so quick. Sending a message to the UAE: better not try and get too independent. Don't play that stuff around here. You're still in our camp. Don't think that you're going anywhere. Control Iraq and Syria and have all your proxies there, but don't try to mess with us. We are still in control here. We are still in charge here. It stands to reason that America gains a lot if they successfully conquer Yemen. On the other hand, I can see the arguments against it. That you go into Yemen, you're going to get bogged down, and you can't focus on a war with China or competing with China or so forth. And Taiwan, how are you going to hold on to Taiwan? Some decisions have to be made here. You can't hold on to everything. You're going to have to let go of other things. The reason a lot of people think that Donald Trump is going to be for peace is because mainly two reasons. He seems very sincere about stopping the war with Russia and Ukraine, but there is no such thing as a free lunch. I do believe he's sincere about stopping a war with Russia and Ukraine, but not because he's a anti-war guy, but because he wants to focus now more on China. By stopping the war in Russia and Ukraine, he can focus more on China. I don't think Putin is going to stop the war in Ukraine just because Donald Trump wants it, or just because Donald Trump has some amazing charisma powers. That's not what's going to happen. Russia has a good thing going on with this war in Ukraine. They're going to want to make sure that they leverage it for maximum benefit. At the same time, people think that Donald Trump is going to stop the war in Israel, or they're very hopeful about the Israel-Palestine situation, simply because Donald Trump hates Netanyahu. But in reality, guys, Tel Aviv wants a Donald Trump presidency. Donald Trump has made it very clear that Biden is holding Israel back from winning the war, despite the fact that Biden really didn't hold back anything. He gave Israel everything they wanted, but still it wasn't enough for them. And Trump is promising that unlimited support for Israel to achieve its goals at the maximum capacity possible. So again, where are we getting this idea that he's going to muzzle Israel? He's going to tell Russia no more war. He's going to seek some type of arrangement with China so that things don't escalate about Taiwan. Where are we getting all of that? It's been the American way to basically conquer the smallest, weakest country, right? Look at the Cold War. Look at the war with Vietnam. Vietnam wasn't about Vietnam, it was about Russia, right? So this isn't going to be about Yemen and Yemen. This is going to be about China and Russia and sending a message to them like, hey, you can use your proxies to control the most vital choke point. Well, we're going to go after Yemen. Yemen is the lowest hanging fruit. It's the weakest link in the chain. Out of all the proxy groups, like Hezbollah has a direct line to Iran. Iran is connected with Russia and bordering it, shares a border. China is very close. Iran has its own nuclear weapons. You can't attack China. You can't attack Iran. You can't attack Russia. Who do you attack? Who do you attack to regain authority and to regain power and to regain your number one status in the world? It's only Yemen. Yemen is the only answer here. So I know I might be upsetting some people by saying these things and people might not want to hear it, but nonetheless, I do think that it's very possible that a scenario like this takes place. Let me know what you guys think. Take care, peace out, and salam.